Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabans. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty hilarious show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. Anyway, we're going to piss off some people on this show here, but I don't care. You know why? I'll tell you why I don't care. The reason I don't care is simply this. Some of these folks out here that despise some of the views that we take. What gets me is that you despise all of our views, but yet you're always here watching. Every single day under the sun, you're here watching. It has gotten to the point where some of my sons and my daughters, they know who they are. My daughters, they know who they are. They're biting me like a shark. You know, I see you. You gotta, cause you're too stupid to do it on your own. So you gotta follow me. I'll show you the way. She knows who she is. Some of my daughters, they've even gotten to the point where now they're looking up videos that we produced 4 years ago. Oh, look, because these are dumb, you know what. So the people that follow them are probably dumb, you know what. So in their mind, when they said it, they thought they made a point, but in reality, they're dumb. So he was like, yo, look. They still riding this wave. Oh, look. You need LBJ for views, but when you said something nice about LeBron, you ain't get no views. 4 years ago, how big was our channel? Help me figure it out. How big was our channel 4 years ago? For sure, it was less than 10,000 subs. This is what happens when you're slow. You say slow things. So that's the first part. They now thought they was exposing me because I said something nice about LeBron. But then these are the same morons that run around talking about all you do is say negative things about LeBron, folks. This is the level we're reasoning at. This is who they're trying to turn into their hero. My little daughter, Suzette. Keep it up, Suzette. Who knows? Keep it up. Maybe you get somewhere with it. But anyway, let me get back to the main show. As you guys know, Shannon Sharpe has officially joined ESPN First Take. And a lot of us were excited to see this pairing because I think many of us envisioned them having some electrifying moments on television. And to be quite frank with you, that is exactly what took place today. Now, a few things about Shannon. I like Shannon Sharpe. I've said it in many shows. I said I wish him success. The only thing I can't vibe with him is his LeBron takes, which are just absolutely outlandish. But anyway, Shannon Sharpe goes on there today and they're discussing LeBron James. And they're discussing some comments that his agent, Rich Paul, had to make, which everybody's roasting him all over the internet for that madness that he tried to get across. I mean, it's that bad. So he went up there and said some kind of wacky, ridiculous nonsense, right? Now, in the past, what would happen is Shannon was debating against Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless is an older guy, I believe he's in his 70s. And he would make a point. Skip wouldn't be able to capitalize on his point, and this would go on for years. And then people would actually think, "Man, Shannon is making a case. Man, I think this guy's making a case." But people that can reason properly, they will understand. Wait a minute, this guy here is not making any good sense here. So he was able to get away with it. But what happened? Now that he's been dealing with Stephen A. Smith is just as witty as him. He's just as sharp as him. He's just as aggressive as he is. So whenever Shannon Sharpe comes to the point, Stephen A. Smith is able to rebut extremely quickly, and essentially, that's what happened today. What am I talking about? They're there discussing this topic about what Rich Paul said, which to me is incredible for two reasons. Number one, he said no one has had the criticism that LeBron has had in the media. Have you ever heard of Cristiano Ronaldo? But fine, we'll leave that out because most people don't pay attention to the world. Then he went, Michael Jordan never got, and then after he said that, the second point was, what does this have to do with the price of bread? Like, what relevance does this comment have to make? So he brought up the comment. The minute Stephen A. Smith addressed what Shannon Sharpe had to say, I thought he totally dismantled Shannon Sharpe all over on live TV. But before we get into his comments, this video is brought to you by our new sponsor, Factor Meals, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. If you're like me or anybody that works at Dreamerspro, chances are you're a very, very busy person, especially during the lunchtime when you don't have time to go to the grocery store, pick out fresh ingredients, and come back home and cook healthy, delicious meals. Sometimes we're so busy that you just end up finding yourself making a ham sandwich or something like that, which isn't really ideal. And this is the reason why we are excited to be partnering with Factor Meals. Factor Meals is America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. You can choose from up to 35 gourmet meals. Every meal is packed with premium ingredients, crafted by Factor Meals' team of culinary experts and designed by dietitians to ensure that every meal is packed with premium science-backed nutritional quality. Your meals are delivered directly to your door, and all you need to do is heat them up in just under 2 minutes. Then they are ready for you to eat and enjoy. So for example, this week, I think I'm gonna go with the Italian herb chicken. What I love is that under every single meal, you can see if it's a calorie conscious option. For example, this meal I just chose is the dietitian approved calorie smart meal, which is around 550 calories or less per serving, and also a protein plus meal with 30 grams of protein or more per serving. So if you want to give it a try, click the link in the description below or head over to factormeals.com/dreamers50 and use code dreamers50 to get 50% off. And remember, when you try Factor Meals by using the link in the description below, remember that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So what we want to do is want to play this exchange for you. It's very long, but we're going to play the parts that we think are important, and then we're going to come back and continue on with the show. Take a listen to this part here.
Does LeBron face tougher scrutiny than Michael Jordan did?
Yes, because, and look, we're not having to get into the who's the better player. We'll debate that another day, but we're just talking about the scrutiny that LeBron has to go through. Because there was no social media. Okay. And Rich Paul is absolutely right. There was no 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365, in which we had an idea. And what the internet has done is turned the common person into a head coach, into a general manager, into a scout, into a professional athlete, into all these things. So now they get to have an opinion. See, Michael would score 50 points. And they never said, well, Larry would have scored 65. Magic would have gave you 80. But if LeBron gets a triple-double, then they said, man, Kobe Jordan would have had 76 points. So that's what he's up against. And the scrutiny of having to go out on a nightly basis, Jordan never had to worry about that. Never, ever had to worry about what the camera, the paparazzi, do you know how many relationships, do you know how many businesses have been ruined with this? That camera phone? Ooh-wee! Can you, get the camera on Stephen A. You see Stephen A, look? The man said in The Last Dance, this is why he said he retired, Molly.
Yeah.
He said he retired due to mental fatigue and burnout.
The first retired and the second one.
He said the first one.
No, so you're talking about Jordan.
Jordan.
Yeah.
The first retirement.
The first one.
Go ahead.
Can you imagine? LeBron says, I don't get tired. That's a lie. Everybody get tired. What you mean you don't get tired? You human, just like everybody else. Michael Jordan can tell you something. Nah, he ain't mean that. He just playing with y'all because he wants y'all to. No, you know that and I know that, right, Stephen A.
Right.
We can debate who was the better player, but the scrutiny that LeBron James has had to go through, no other player, no other athlete in the history of the game. Now, we're not talking about what Ali had to go through and stuff like that, but we're talking about when you just critique on court or on field or on ring accomplishments and what he had to undertake, nobody has had to bear the brunt like LeBron James.
Your take on this particular issue, Shannon, is laughable, but I understand. And I forgive you. And the reason I forgive you, Shannon Sharpe, is because even though you were born in 1968, June of 1968, if I remember correctly, I think it's important to remember that you were a star athlete on every level.
Yes.
High school, college, pros.
Yes.
So you weren't in the media at that particular moment in time. I can assure you there was scrutiny that came Michael Jordan's way. But I'll get to that in a second. Now let me get back to the subject and why you're wrong. You talk about the age of social media.
Yes.
And the scrutiny.
Yes.
You don't talk enough about the resources today's generation of players because of the money that they're getting paid, what they have available to them to ward off the cynicism and the scrutiny. You see what I'm saying? Michael Jordan was under a microscope. And you got to remember, even though LeBron is clearly the biggest star,
Right.
there are a plethora of stars in the NBA because the NBA has globalized its brand, and so many guys are their own individual entities and corporations.
Right.
LeBron is one of many. Now, he's at the top.
Right.
But he's one of many.
Right.
There was no one in Jordan's class. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird basically saved the NBA.
Right.
Jordan was the one that took it to another level and globalized that brand. And because of the greatness that was far and apart, separate from any level of separation that LeBron James has been able to create with his brethren, that put Jordan in the eye of the storm because he stood alone.
Right.
He didn't have company, Shannon. He was all by himself. And by the way, you said that the scrutiny and the camera phone, woo! Remember what you just said?
Yeah.
Do you remember Atlantic City?
Yeah.
When he was going up against the Knicks in the playoffs?
Would you say that Jordan is a less polarizing figure? Like fans were more behind Jordan than they are LeBron?
Well, yes, but here's the reason why. A, because Jordan won. B, because he was an assassin while doing so, and he was unapologetic about it. And you had most people preoccupied with taking him down as a winner. You had, outside of Chicago, you had people that wanted him to lose. They wanted to beat him. And so the focus was on basketball. Because of the advent of social media and how LeBron has expanded, he's capitalized off of Jordan, Magic, Kobe, and others, and really took it to another level business-wise. Not for Jordan, because nobody's bigger than Jordan with the business side. But because he took it to another level business-wise, LeBron has opened himself up for scrutiny in different avenues.
So you heard the exchange between these two gentlemen here. Here's my question. How will this point that Rich Paul brought up, how is this going to affect the events that have already occurred on the court between MJ and LeBron James? This is my question. Because what this seems like, and I'm just being honest with you guys, it seems like a cry for sympathy. It seems like they're trying to get the sympathetic votes. That's what it seems like. We even put up a comment on our channel in response to this. We said, so MJ, Kobe never got criticized, laughing out loud. This is becoming laughable. Now the GOAT debate is about the internet. Laughing out loud. It's a wrap for Shannon. This is the end of these lame excuses. Thank you, Lord. One person responds, Braun faced more criticism. That's really not arguable. And I responded, who cares? Who cares? What does that have to do with how he has played over the course of his career? To me, this is what you call a deflection. They're trying to deflect and change the argument to take it to some irrelevant place. Because if we start going down the rabbit hole of, oh, yes, LeBron faced more criticism than MJ, then it's going to be the reason. So therefore, the reason LeBron didn't win as much as MJ, or rather, so you have to clap your hands for him because he was able to win under these circumstances. It is lame. It is lame. It's a bad argument to make. It is ridiculous to bring up this point. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. And then what happens is they try to create an echo chamber of people that will now agree with them. And then all of a sudden, oh my God, we're making a point. I think points like this dumb people down. What Shannon Sharpe was talking about, I don't know. Since when did the GOAT debate now become, oh, it's about who got more criticism? It's no longer about what was accomplished. It's, to me, is all about how many excuses can we make? How many possible excuses can we make in order for this thing to be? Let me ask you guys a question. Of all the potential top 5 players in NBA history, of all of these guys, name a player that needs more concessions and more excuses to be in the top 5 than LeBron James. Name the player. Name the player. Who's the player? Name the player that needs more excuses to be in the top 5 than LeBron. Name the guy. Who is the guy? The fact that he even brought up being criticized and he mentioned Jordan and Kobe is laughable. It is actually laughable. Those two gentlemen went through real life events. Michael Jordan in the case of his father. This is a real life event. Not my decision to go from Cleveland to Miami. That's not a real life event. Kobe went through a court case, and I'm not going to mention the word, a court case. We know what he was being accused of. That would have cost him his freedom. Kobe, in the process of that, lost endorsements. It's even to the point that after his passing, people like Gayle King were still trying to bring it up. It's even to the point where now, if you bring it up, some disgusting people will still bring it up in the comment sections when you're talking about Kobe. A case that he won, by the way. A case that was dropped or whatever. They will still bring that up. So Kobe Bryant was not criticized. No, help me figure it out. He wasn't criticized. But then it causes us to forget about the biggest question we need to ask ourselves, which is this. Rich Paul said, no one has received more criticism than LeBron. The question we got to ask ourselves is, what was LeBron being criticized for? What was LeBron James being criticized for? Help me figure it out. When LeBron took the Cavaliers, I think at age 22 to the NBA Finals and they lost, who talks about that? What was the criticism? Everybody said he was a young kid. What was the criticism around that? The criticism for LeBron started, and I'll tell you when. It started when, during LeBron's early days as a Cleveland Cavalier, LeBron he didn't know how to conduct himself as a competitor. Whenever his team would be up and other teams would be losing, LeBron would be dancing on the sideline. Let me tell you guys, maybe you don't know. LeBron used to dance and be dancing on the court while other teams were losing. In some cases, if a team was being blown out, he'd be there flipping bottles and playing. And people started criticizing him for saying that's unsportsmanlike. That's unsportsmanlike. Now, if you're saying that people shouldn't have an opinion on that, that means you're a D-rider. Because everybody should accept what you do without any criticism. It started there. Then, LeBron then decided on his own, after he lost the NBA Finals, or rather before that, he decided to go in Cleveland and publicize it on television. A bad move. And people criticized him for that, which was self-inflicted. He then goes to Miami, loses, then he wears a shirt, check my stats, and in the press conference that they were asking him about losing, he then basically says to the people, you guys can say whatever you want about me. I'm going to go on to live my rich, fantastic life when you go back to living your poor, regular life. That was LeBron. We then continue on. He played, he won some championships. He lost, he got criticized, as he should, as anybody should. He's not exempt from it. Then what happens? LeBron starts becoming political. Do you know how much of an idiot you have to be to take political views and not expect criticism? That means you're a flagrant idiot. The two most divisive things in the world are religion and politics. And the minute you step foot into the political arena, regardless of your political leanings, you're going to get criticized. Who doesn't know that? You want people to feel sympathetic for having political views? What do you think is going to happen? If I agree with your views or disagree with your views, it's irrelevant. The fact is, once you step into the political arena, people are going to have they're going to have some opinions on you. This goes for everybody. Nobody's exempt. You're going to tell me LeBron didn't know that? Or he should be exempt from it? He should be exempt from it. So he should have a political view and people shouldn't be allowed to have an opinion on it, whether they agree or disagree? What are we talking about here? So the question I got to ask is, when you talk about people coming after him, what are we talking about? And finally, I'll close with this. Criticized by who? Let's go to the media. Who are the LeBron guys? Kendrick Perkins, Jay Williams, Stephen A. Smith to an extent, Shannon Sharpe, Nick Wright, who else? Emmanuel Acho, who else? Chris Broussard, who else can I think? Who else? JJ Redick. Who else am I missing? Who else am I missing? Who are the anti-LeBron guys in media? Oh, Colin Cowherd. Who are the anti-LeBron guys? Name them. Skip Bayless. Who else? Rob Parker. Who else? To me, it sounds like a bunch of whining. And, oh, if you're not saying nice things about me, you're not my friend, so don't talk about me. Don't talk about me. Don't talk about me. I don't like when you talk about me. And that's why Stephen A. Smith used to come up with that thing about Great Dad, because he knows that these dudes are sensitive. He knows this. This is nauseating. The constant whining and the complaining and the whining and the complaining. This fan base, y'all don't get tired of whining? Shit, like, y'all don't get tired? Pull up your skirt. Oh my God, it's all like, come on, you a dude. Like, this is what dudes go through. Sorry to tell you. You're a guy. You're going to get you're going to get criticized. Life is going to be hard. You're a guy. Oh my Lord. I'm done. Like, I'm done. These guys are always complaining and whining about something. I don't get it. Y'all are dudes. What are we doing? You guys are dudes. Man up. Take it on the chin. Let's move on. What's going on with all of this whining and complaining? Good Lord.